Today, I'm announcing that the United States will be sending 31 Abrams tanks to Ukraine, the equivalent of 1 Ukrainian battalion. Secretary Austin has recommended this step because it will enhance the Ukraine's capacity to defend its territory and achieve its strategic objectives. Together with our allies and partners, we've sent more than 3,000 armored vehicles, more than 8,000 artillery systems, more than 2 million rounds of artillery ammunition, and more than 50 advanced multi-launch rocket systems, anti-ship and air defense systems, all to help counter Ukraine's brutal aggression that's happening because of Russia.
Quite a birthday gift for Zelensky. Not everyone asks for battle tanks and then gets them. Now President Biden has announced a supply of 31 Abrams tanks to Ukraine, and that decision has come together with the German decision earlier on Wednesday to supply Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine finally, together with more air defense systems and heavy artillery and missile launchers as a part of the deal. The US and Germany had hesitated together over the tanks, and now they've taken that decision together. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz had said that Germany will agree to send its tanks only if the US takes that decision over its Abrams tanks. That has now come, but of course the American tanks will take some time to get to Ukraine, as President Biden has warned. At the earliest, it could be later in the year. The fact is that Ukraine clearly needs those tanks now, but in any case, whatever the delay, the US decision has politically facilitated the supply of German tanks. Germany itself will need a stretch of time before its tanks can be sent to Ukraine, and that could take some months. But Germany is preparing to go beyond its initial promise of a company of 14 tanks. It is taking the lead in preparing 2 battalions now of tanks for Ukraine, which could mean 80 to 100 tanks eventually. But Ukraine, of course, needs these tanks immediately and not eventually. The German decision has, in the near term, cleared the way for supply of tanks from a number of European countries that have them. Poland and Finland had taken the lead in offering Leopard 2 tanks that are sitting with them. Now Spain and the Netherlands have joined in, and these tanks now could begin rolling into Ukraine in a matter of just weeks. Russia predictably calls this move of sending tanks extremely dangerous. It calls it a permanent escalation, but Russia will be worried militarily. The only tank that it has that potentially could match these is the T-14 Armata, but sufficient numbers of those are not in production. That production was stopped earlier, then restarted only last year. Deployment would take further time. The present Russian tanks, as we've seen, are just sitting ducks for American missiles. Stingers, Javelins, the HIMARS systems have completely destroyed them on the battlefield. But a battle remains, and a battle is certain now to intensify. Escalation there will be, because Ukraine clearly is preparing now to take Russia on in the south and in the east.